Hello, I'm Thomas Kish, the founder of Cash Flow Experts and the creator of your Shortcut to Money Secrets. I'm a national expert in the field of business credit, and I'm proud to say that our company has helped thousands of people get access to millions of dollars in business credit that can be used for any purpose. I want to show you how to use our simple free software and a business line of credit to get a 50% return on investment in any business. So stay tuned until the end of this short video, and I'll give you a download copy of this business credit forecasting software. This is the software that will show you how to use a business line of credit instead of your own cash to get a massive rate of return in any business. For our demo today, let's consider starting a cleaning service business that provides residential and commercial cleaning. I like this example because anyone can start this kind of service business where you simply hire the people to do the work and you own and manage the business for a profit. And I like this example because a cleaning service was one of the businesses that I started, ran, and eventually sold for a nice profit many years ago using these exact kinds of business credit. So the numbers that we're going to use as averages are pretty solid. Now remember that you can use business credit in any kind of business that you want to. So as you follow along with my example, you can think about how you would use business credit to start perhaps an internet business or some other kind of service business, or even use it for investing in real estate and many other opportunities. So let's get started. We're going to begin with this forecast by considering using a $50,000 business line of credit. Remember, we can get you much larger lines of credit than this. In fact, our average customer gets $100,000 to $200,000 in business credit in about 2 to 4 months. But for a simple cleaning service business, $50,000 will do. You're also going to enter into this forecast the average amount of interest that you're going to be paying on the use of this business credit, plus all of your startup costs to start this kind of business, as well as your monthly advertising budget and any overhead items. We've also included a field here that represents the amount of principal that you're going to repay on a monthly basis. On average, it's about 1 to 1.5%, but we've rounded it up to 2% to make this situation very simple and easy to understand. Now, if you don't know what some of these things mean, don't worry. You can download a copy of this software and instructions on how to use it right after the video is over. So we've got all of our expenses in this field, and they're represented by the monthly amounts, as I said, that we're going to repay on the principal for this $50,000 business line of credit, and the amount of interest we're going to pay on the use of this money. We've also included the monthly fields for each of our month's sales and profit. Now, I want you to be forced to think like a business owner and to have to enter each of these monthly sales numbers rather than just one average. I want you to see in this chart very clearly that your monthly sales are going to fluctuate over the period of a year. For the example of our cleaning business, you're going to have your sales peak in the spring cleaning season. They're going to fall off during the summer months, and then they're going to rise dramatically again during the holiday cleaning season before they fall toward the end of the year. So you need to see a representation very clearly of how the fact that what you invest in advertising and the kind of marketing and promotions you do are going to determine and drive your sales and profitability in this startup business forecast. Of course, all your monthly and annual totals are easily calculated here. So we started with a $50,000 business line of credit. If you drew all of the cash off of that line of credit and invested the initial $12,000 in startup costs, that would leave you with $38,000 cash. Place that in your checking account. Here we've got all of our startup costs. If you don't have a business name registered yet, that's simple and easy to do. And the materials for this kind of business are pretty low cost. Plus, you're going to see here that the principal and interest amount of the use of this line of credit is represented here, which again gives you a total over about 2 months of close to $12,000. Now, here is where it gets interesting. After about 5 months, this business forecast turns what we would call cash flow positive. You've added up all of your projected sales and income and your additional expenses for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th month. That gives you a total of income and the additional expenses. You add those to your starting balance in your checking account. Where did we get that amount from? Well, remember, we used $50,000 in business credit. We drew off that cash, but we only invested about $12,000 in startup costs and placed that remaining $38,000 in our checking account. So here we've added our income to that original balance. We've subtracted the additional 3 months of expenses, and we are left with a remainder of $54,000 in that checking account. Now, we have one of three choices here. We can use this money to repay the entire $50,000 business line of credit and not continue to use it and have no further interest expenses. We can use this balance to repay a portion of that business credit, thereby lowering our cost of using that money, or we don't have to pay any of that money back and we can continue to use the entire $50,000 line of credit during the full first year of this forecast. And you will see that by doing this, you are going to have a 55% return on your investment with this projection of business forecasting. Now, here's the most important thing that I want you to notice. Most of my clients ask me what the interest rates are on these business lines of credit. Well, of course, the rates vary from our lending source to lending source, but we have searched out and found the lowest possible rates for our clients. And the best reason to use business credit and start a business is because the interest rates don't really affect your profit all that much. Want me to prove it to you? Well, what would happen to our forecast if the rates on the line of credit were 10 or 12%? Well, let's see. We can go in here and we can simply change the 8% to a 10% rate and recalculate. And you're going to see that your interest expense for the use of this $50,000 line of credit went up very slightly. And of course, the amount you repay on the principal didn't change at all because that's not affected by the interest rate. And you see here that your return on investment is still 51%. Let's change the rate again to a 12% interest rate and recalculate. Again, your interest expense increased very insubstantially, and you still have a 48% return on investment in this business activity. Now, if you want a free copy of this great software and more information about these business lines of credit, click the red X to close this video and then enter your first name and email address, and we'll be happy to send you download instructions so you can get a completely free copy of this great business startup forecasting software.